Welcome inside the beautiful Bercy Arena on the shores of the Seine River in Paris. It's the women's bronze medal game in wheelchair basketball, Canada versus China. Rob Snook, joined by wheelchair basketball Paralympian Joe Bestwick, and we are excited. The penultimate game, one medal on the line between these teams at the Paris 2024 Paralympic Games. China won its first Paralympic medal at Tokyo 2020. Canada won its last medal 20 years ago in Athens. And of course, that ended a string of 4 medals in 4 games, including 3 gold. There you see it. Final medals on the line. Now the coup de baton ceremony, French theatrical element. 3 taps signifies the official start. Handling the honor, Cathy Laurent, wheelchair basketball Paralympian for France at London and at Rio. These are 2 teams who have met each other twice before. Beg your pardon, these are teams that are meeting each other for the second time. They met in the preliminary round on the first day. It was a 5-point win for China on that day. Let's meet the 2 teams in the battle for bronze. We start with Canada's number 4, Rosie Lalonde, who has a phenomenal 83% free throw average. Elodie Tessier, the second-time Paralympian who can jump into the game as a substitute at any given moment and make an impact. Aaron Young has had a couple of monster games here, including 29 points in the semifinal against the Netherlands. Cindy Wallet is the captain, the 35-year-old, in her 6th Paralympic Games, 5 summer, 1 winter. Tamara Steeves is in her 4th Paralympic Games. Her husband was in the stands today talking about they're getting ready to celebrate their 1st anniversary soon. Here's Poussin Lai, 24-year-old out of Toronto, has played some big minutes for Canada. Tara Yanis is the co-captain, the 47 years young athlete out of North Vancouver, another key substitute for Canada. Bethany Johnson out of Winnipeg, Manitoba, in her very 1st Paralympic Games, getting the taste of what it's like. Here's Katie Dandeneau, 2nd leading scorer in the tournament, 25.5 points per game. She has been huge. Sophia Fassi-Ferry out of Montreal, first-time Paralympian, has gotten into a couple of games to help her team here. Here's Melanie Houghton, the 3-time Paralympian, will play some big minutes, we expect, for Canada, the 36-year-old athlete. And Desiree Isaac Pictou out of Eel River Bar, First Nation, first-time Paralympian, represents many things. Their nation and Canada ready for battle in this bronze medal game, trying to win their 1st medal in 2 decades. And here we go with the team from China. There is Chen Shu-Xing, 30-year-old, 3-time Paralympian. Zheng Xumei can put up some big numbers on her own. The number 6 is a 4.0 player. Zhang Tongli has been on the team, winning Paralympic and wheelchair World Championship silver and Asian Games gold. There is Liu Zhudi, 31-year-old from Guangdong province, part of the silver medal team in Tokyo. Lin Suling is the captain from Guangzhou, had a 15-point game in the semifinal against the U.S. Huang Xiaolin, 33-year-old, in her 2nd Paralympic Games. Zhenjing Huang was 22 in her 1st Paralympic Games. Chu Chaoling wears the number 12. She's a 4.5 player. Cheng Mai Mai, another of the next generation, 21-year-old for China. Long Yun, 35, the veteran of 3 Paralympic Games. Number 16 is Dai Xiaiming. She was part of that silver medal team in Tokyo. And Hai Xieyang, whereas the number 17, the 23-year-old who was part of the silver medal team at the World Championships last year, for head coach Cheng Chi. And here we go. It's the women's bronze medal game in Paris. One of these teams will go home thrilled with hardware. One of these teams will go home a little disappointed. That is the nature of the beast. The starters for Canada in the game will be Rosie Lalonde, Cindy Ouellette, Busan Lai, Katie Dandino, and Melanie Houghton. The exact same five we have seen throughout the tournament. Same can be said for China. Chen Shuijing, Zhang Shuimei, Zhang Tongli, Liu Zhudi, and Lin Suling, the starting five, with the referees, the officials ready for this game. Last time these two teams met was in the round robin on the opening day. It was a win for China, a come-from-behind win that day, and they got a monster effort from Zhang Shuimei, who scored 30 points, had 7 rebounds, and 8 assists, as we see the starting five on the Canadian team on the list. And there is the group. Tamara Steeves reminding us she is ready to go for the bronze medal game. years ago in Tokyo. China only lost one game. It was in the gold medal game. They went home with silver. If they can manage only one loss here, they'll go home with bronze. Canada is trying for a 5th win of this tournament. Check that, they're trying for a 4th win of this tournament. Beat Great Britain, Spain, and Germany. Lost to China in the round robin and the Netherlands in the semifinal. Number 9 on the arm of Katie Dandenot represents Maud Jacques, who played for the national team for many years and passed away far too young last year. And in memory of her, the number 9. And it is game time in the bronze medal game in women's wheelchair basketball. China in the white jerseys, Canada in black. The captain, Cindy Willette's got the ball. Makes a move. Hard to the basket, tries to move China in. Here's Dandenot, puts up a shot, it rattles in. The tournament's 2nd leading scorer has her team on the board.
Dandenot has been an absolute force in this tournament. We've seen that all season. Dandenot, one of the players playing professionally in Europe, and she has been an absolute monster there, like one of the leading scorers in the league. This tournament, she's averaging a 25-point double-double with 10 rebounds as well. Huge performances. Pretty phenomenal numbers.
However, as teams, these are not the 2 best rebounding teams in the league, or in the tournament. Canada only 6th best, and China 8th best in rebounding, and that might have been their downfall in the semifinal. They got seriously out-rebounded against USA in the semifinal in the loss. Le jeudi. 75% free throw shooter in the tournament.
From a China perspective, it's going to be essential that they get her involved as early as possible. She's had a couple of games where teams have done a good job keeping her away from the paint. She's not a player that scores in volume from distance. She definitely needs to be a little closer.
China is the best field goal shooting team average-wise in the tournament right now. Here's Willette. Kicks it over for Dandenot from behind the screen of Melanie Houghton, and it won't roll in. And it's going to roll out and bounce out of bounds. It'll be China ball.
It's really interesting to see the Canadian coaches sticking with this lineup with Willette. Very, very experienced campaigner, Willette, as we said, 6-time Paralympian. But coach happy playing under points, knowing that if this unit goes well and they can use the speed of that unit to disrupt the Chinese offense, then they've got the power of Young coming in later in the game.
But there comes the speed of China and creativity of Zheng Tong Li, her first basket of the game. Rosalie Lalonde brings the ball down the floor, kind of left alone for a while. China guarding Katie Dandenot very closely. She does receive the pass from the elbow, puts it up, it rattles out, rebound China.
Just a look from Dandenot to the referees there, just maybe questioning if there was a foul there, but it looked from here as if that was just a fadeaway.
And quickly, right back down the floor comes China with Lin Su-ling, the captain.
See this line press from China. They aren't looking to steal the ball. In previous games, they've been really looking to steal the ball, to lock teams down, get 8-second calls. But so far here, they're just looking to collapse together and maybe making sure that Dandenot has to work for every inch down the floor.
Dandenot doesn't have a shot, gives it to Lalonde. She does have a shot, and she drops it in. Rosie Lalonde, 52% field goal shooter in the tournament.
That 52% is off the back of a fantastic opening game as well against China. We mentioned that earlier. She had 18 points in that game at 73% shooting, so see if she can repeat that here today.
Well, it's almost like they left her open and she just took advantage of that freedom.
Exactly that. Like, teams have to pick their poison sometimes. They focus too much on Danda now. There are other dangerous players in this team.
That was Zheng Shuimei basket. Here's Ouellet. Waits for some help. And it arrives. Now Dandino's going to try to work over on this side with Lalonde. It's going to be Canada ball with 10 seconds on the shot clock. If we look at that last basket from China.
Canada are doing a good job taking China out of their rhythm a little in their offense. This isn't the usual set offense that we see them running. Making shots anyway, though.
Offensive foul on Canada's Poussin Lai. Our first personal foul of the game.
Interesting to see in the background there on the Canadian bench, Aaron Young, one of the only players not wearing a warm-up. I think she predicts that she may be coming into the game early here.
She's definitely always seems to be ready. Here is Zheng Shuimei. Lobs it all the way across for Zheng Shuixing. And the shot rattles out, and it's rebounded by Canada's Rosie Lalonde. But her team is feeling the press, and a giveaway. But Lalonde gets it back, but it's going to still be an 8-second violation called against Canada.
Changing style from that press there from People's Republic of China. Previously, they'd just been holding a flat line. But there, it seems to be the trigger was that when a player had broken over the halfway line, rather than trying to maintain the line, they just looked to smother them.
Zheng Shuimei gives China a 4-point lead, 4 minutes into the game.
Little bit of an unconventional technique on the shot there, but it's so effective for her. This almost starts with two hands on the ball, but then completely one-handed, not even using the left to support the ball, but so consistent.
Ouellet couldn't quite handle that pass from Dandino. And the foul is on Rosie Lalonde.
And just see again with that shot, the left hand coming away very, very early, but the control with the right and the follow through is so smooth. So it's a really grooved shot.
Zheng. Liu. And it looks like Zheng Shuixing rather. Puts up the shot and hits the shot. Wow. From in behind the screen, from a long ways away.
From a Canadian perspective, they really need somebody other than Dandino looking to receive the ball in this press break here. Dandino trying to use her power to break down the court, but then no one else looking to receive the ball, so she's having to come back for it. Making her do the work twice almost.
Ouellet, nice little pump fake, and she hits her first basket of the game. Canada back within 4. China Zhang Tongli, watched by Dandino. And right to the hoop goes Lin Suling, and the captain is one of these players, Joe, who sometimes will be happy to pass, and then when they leave her a lane, she'll go right to the hoop.
Absolutely. She has 8.8 assists average a game so far to go with her 11.2 points. Very, very balanced offensive player.
Here's Dandino, and she's going to get the and one. Gets the bucket to drop and gets the foul.
That's important for Canada because they were starting to get into a little bit of a hole there. China just ticking over the scoreboard and Canada struggling to get going.
Canada's going to leave Cindy Ouellet in the game, but in comes Tara Giannis and Elodie Tessier. Dandenot, 70% free throw shooter through the first 5 games of the tournament. Finishes off the 3-point play, and it's a 3-point lead, China. Zhang Shuimei. Launches it across for Chen Shuixin. To the elbow. Back up for Zhang Tongli. And she's such a good shooter.
It's so consistent from that middle position. Another player that's averaging almost 12 points a game. Also 6.6 assists, so has that balance to her game, but definitely someone who looks to shoot first rather than pass. And that was a more structured offense as well from China there. That's more the rhythm that they would be looking for.
Dandenot still weaving around. There's only 4 on the shot clock. In for Tessier, gives to Ouellette. This is going to miss. And it's going to be gathered in by China's Zhang Tongli. That was not a good trip down the floor, I don't think, for Canada.
They're just struggling to get Dandenot to any sort of position. And Dandenot, a player who likes the ball in her hands, she's happy bringing it up in transition. But in this situation, she may be better just getting out of there, just breaking down the floor, and letting her teammates do some more of the ball handling.
Now Dandenot collects the rebound.
Needs an early outlet here.
Launches one, and I don't think Ouellette's going to be able to get there. It's going to be another turnover. China specializing in causing turnovers. The last time these two teams met, they forced Canada into 15 turnovers.
They're up to 4 already today, so they're looking, if this continues, that they're going to top that number.
The official having a discussion with Cindy Ouellette, who's sorting out some equipment issues. And we are good to go. China leads by 5 on the ball. And here comes the People's Republic, Zhang Tongli. Quickly works it ahead for Hu Zhudi. Zhang Tongli directing traffic a little bit, stops, then works the pass in, and they just keep on hitting.
So consistent in the offense's Chinese team. They're shooting at 80% at the moment. Unlikely that they'll keep that higher percentage up throughout the game, but if they get the shots that they want, like these that they're getting at the moment, then you never know, they could.
And here they come again after a turnover again. Right back comes Zhang Tongli, draws the foul. Still no movement from the Canadian bench.
Well, they're just having the discussion with the referee there. She believed that she was clean in front of the Chinese player. We'll see that just a fraction late. She did have good wheel position. She's right with that, but she was still moving and maybe just a little too late.
Zhang Tongli, 60% free throw shooter through the tournament. And somebody moved on Canada, and so this is going to be forcing another, or allowing China to take another shot with Zhang Tongli.
It looked like that was Tessier just going in a little early there.
And now the Chinese player moved. And so this will go back to Canada.
A little bit of confusion from Dandenot there. She was trying to say that that basket should be wiped out as the Chinese player went in early. The only time that the play would have been stopped there is if it was missed and there was a rebound for China.
Gotcha. So it does count. Here's Dandenot from range. Rattles out inside of 2 minutes to play. China's lead is 8 points. And they are looking very strong right now. Canada hasn't found any answers yet. Lin Suling draws a foul. And it's on Elodie Tessier.
We haven't seen this level of consistency from China for a little while in the tournament. In their semi-final, they were shooting under 40% for the game. Well above that so far here today.
Canadian bench starts to move. Young and Lalonde and Houghton all getting ready to come back into the game. And And the whistle goes, and I believe it's triple substitution, but no timeout at this point. So here comes Erin Young, Rosie Lalonde, Melanie Houghton will stay out with Dandeneau and Poussin Lai. Canada chasing the game, 10 points down, 1:42 left in the opening quarter.
And this is a different situation for Young to come into. As we said, struggled early in the tournament, but she's done very, very well and has contributed a lot to Canada's fantastic scoring from the bench, averaging 25.8 bench points again, the Canadians. They are a little slow without the ball handler Ouellette on the floor, though.
And that shot from Dandeneau was a little bit short. It looked like she kept looking to see if she could find Young. As China moves the ball with Lin Suling, Liu Zhudi, and the shot put up by Zhang Shumei. Again, though, Canada in under pressure, but this time Rosie Lalonde draws a foul. The foul was on Lin Suling, the captain of the People's Republic of China.
Continuing with their press here as well, just a 3-2 press at the moment, as Dandeneau and Lai had broken the line during the dead time there.
Young takes the pass, and she comes off the bench and scores on her first attempt.
Tough shot to take as a first coming into the game. Most players like to have a nice layup or a free throw or something just to get them going. Not Erin Young. She takes a huge fadeaway to open her account.
Zheng Tong Li puts up a big lob pass for Lin Suling. That one's going to rattle out. Rebounded by Canada's Dandeneau. Again facing pressure, but dishes off for Young. Erin Young directing traffic while she rolls. Feeds a pass inside for Dandeneau. Rebounded by Lalonde, who draws the foul. It's going to be a non-shooting foul. Foul is on Zhang Shuimei. Second foul on Zhang Shuimei.
Not necessarily a bad thing for Canada that was called on the floor. 10 seconds to get a shot is a long time. It means they'll be able to stop China from having another opportunity to score.
Here's Erin Young. And that one's not going to drop. Rebounded by China. They won't get a shot, though. Missed opportunity for Canada, down by 8 points after the first quarter of play against China in this bronze medal game.
You see that huge fadeaway again from Young there. What a shot that was. She'll be frustrated at missing that last one, though. The last one was a comfortable look for her, and one that would have really given them all the momentum despite being down in the game going into the second quarter. Just having a look at the statistics here. Both teams taking the same number of shots, but the percentage difference is huge. Not to mention the turnover, or points from turnovers. 7 points for China off turnovers, 0 so far from Canada. China have just been so focused with their passing.
Well, and to be frank, China hasn't even turned the ball over yet at all.
Exactly that, and it's just that concentration, that calmness under pressure. They're just able to move the ball. They always know where the outlet is. It doesn't seem like they're ever under the same level of physical pressure that China are putting Canada under.
Some really nice shooting by China, who already has 4 of their 5 starters with baskets in this game. They have really spread the offense around, as this was Zhang Shuimei, 2 of her 4 points.
If anything, it's usually Lu Guidi who is carrying a lot of the scoring inside, but with the power of the Canadian forwards, she's struggled to get into the game so far, but that's just meant it's opened up the outside shots, particularly for Lin Suling. 8 points personal for her on 3 shots so far, 100%.
So far, Canada hasn't been able to expose China's rebounding, not the best rebounding team. Here we go, second quarter of play in this women's bronze medal game. China leading by 8. Still tons of time on the shot clock. They work it inside and rolled into the basket by Chen Shui-Xing.
That's a really strong finish. You could see Aaron Young creating all sorts of pressure over her shoulder, but completely calm here, the low pointer. We talked earlier about the balance required from low pointers, and to be able to stabilize herself, face the basket and score in such a short space of time is really strong from the low.
Here's Rosie Lalonde. Finds Dandenot. She wants to shoot from behind the screen. She wants to give it to Young, who has it batted away. Be 4 seconds on the shot clock. It'll be Canada ball, and in fact, that was a foul called on Zhang Shui-Mei, and that is her 3rd foul already.
We spoke earlier about how short the People's Republic of China's rotations are, and that could be enormous for them. If they're having to make changes, the players coming in from the bench aren't used to playing significant minutes.
Aaron Young gets Canada back within 9 points. China heads back to work with Liu Shudi. Lin Suling likes where she is, puts it up, puts it in.
We'll say again, unbelievable consistency already from China, but no movement on the Chinese bench yet. That surprises me a little. The coach trusting his player not to pick up a 4th foul here.
There's Dandenot inside for Young. Can't get that one to fall. And then rebounded by Liu Shudi. And quickly, China's able to get across half, and they've got a 2-on-1. Zhang Tongli. Miss. Rebound gathered in by Young, who then draws the foul. And that is on Chen Shui-Xing, her 1st.
Tough pass that by Young, but look at that strength from Dandenot, just be able to rip that down.
Here's Dandenot. And that one comes up just a wee bit short. So Katie Dandenot having a little trouble finding her range at this point in the game. Long way to go, though. Not even 2 minutes into the 2nd quarter. More substitutions coming for Canada.
I wouldn't be surprised to see if it's Katie Dandenot who comes out of the game here. She has been struggling. See that? You just see that foul there from Dandenot. She's going to be frustrated. There's been some great defense from China to limit her scoring, but she's also missed some shots that she would have expected to hit so far.
Sometimes players get a little rest on the bench, get a new perspective on the game, and things start to work. Here's the pick and roll, and that time Young got a hand on Chen Shui-Xing. 2 seconds on the shot clock. It's going to go in. What a shot by Zhang Tongli.
Incredible finish there. So much pressure. The chair was drifting away from the basket, but keeping her shoulders square was key there.
Hard pass from Young, bounces to Ouellette, and the captain gets Canada back on offense.
From a Canadian perspective, it'll be interesting how Young reacts here. The majority of her more successful games so far have been with Dandenot in the game, where Dandenot draws so much of the heat. Young is going to be the focus now from a Chinese defensive perspective.
Canada's other shooters out there would be Lalonde and Ouellette.
Very dangerous shooters, both of them, but they don't have the physical presence of a Young or a Dandenot.
Liu Shudi drops it off for Zhang Tongli. Just had that amazing shot. Here's Lin Suling, captain of Team China, in for Liu Shudi. And hits another one over top of Melanie Houghton on a mismatch. And a timeout call being called. Canada down by 15 points with 6:48 to go in the half.
Just the 4th point so far of the day for Liu Shudi, but Lin Suling out to 5 assists personal already.
Well, we talk about China not using its bench so much, Joe, but they've got all 5 of their players in points already in this game. Everyone has scored.
That for them is going to be a huge thing, particularly the ability to use their 1-pointers to score on the layups. Canadian coach there just re-emphasizing there's nothing for them to panic about. They just need a stop and a score, 2 possessions at a time. Just get a stop, get a score. Focus on who the main scorers are for China. If they can use their speed, Canada, and lock them down, then they can take China out of their rhythm. China are a team that really like their structure on offense. When you take them outside of that structure, they can struggle at times to have to problem solve.
Press break, they get it to Ouellet. One of the members on the Canadian team when they won gold at the World Championships 10 years ago. Young, a long shot. This one is going to be Canada ball as it goes off of Zhang Tongli. Good job by Melanie Houghton to push her hand.
I mean, Young is a good shooter from that position. She is a dangerous 3-point shooter. But in a situation where the coach is saying that they need a stop and a score and to get some consistent offenses, taking an early 3 isn't necessarily the shot the coach would be thinking of, I don't think.
That was a foul on Liu Shudi. Her first personal as Rosie Lalonde goes to the foul line. 83% free throw shooter. Sorry about that, Rosie. Lalonde saying something to the official there. Interesting.
Just the 2nd point of this quarter for Canada. China have really stepped up their defense and putting them under so much pressure with their press. Particularly now that Young is out there as the only 4-5. It makes this post-to-post pass much more difficult, having to find a smaller Ouellet on those long passes.
Lin Suling into the paint and kicks it back out for Zhang Shuimei. And then the rebound is picked up by the 1-pointer Chen Shui-Shing, and Canada can't be happy with that.
4th point of the day, I believe, for her. Just that 1 shot blocked by Aaron Young earlier.
Here's Ouellet. She's left alone. And it just doesn't want to fall for Cindy Ouellet. Back comes China with numbers. Into the middle for Liu Shudi. Lin Suling. Big lob pass for Zhang Shuimei. Rebounded by Young.
Giannis doing a great job to pressure the shooter there. You need to be careful as a low pointer. You can't put your hand in the face of the player.
Steal by China again.
What you can do, though, is wave and pressure and try and distract them. She did a great job there. She's never going to stop the shot, just create a distraction.
Zhang Tongli, it's worked back to her again at the foul line. Now nicely inside, and again it goes in from Chen Shui-Shing. And China is just rolling here, and Canada's bringing Katie Dandenau back into the game, it looks like, after the timeout.
A really clear tactic from Canada here in their defense, as you see that layup again, is that they don't rate the scoring necessarily on the layups here of the Chinese 1-pointers. They're leaving them open, they're playing that side just with 1, but they're getting open layups right now. Canadian coach there just giving a little advice to the players that they need to look to attack the number 6 here. At the minute, she's on 3 fouls very early in the game, and she's carried her team with scoring through the tournament so far, 17.4 points a game. If she can pick up her 4th foul, then that'll be a real problem for the Chinese coach. He's going to have to look to bring her out of the game, I think, at that point. 3 fouls you can maybe manage. 4 is too much of a risk, I would say, especially with such a big lead.
So interesting, Canada has left Ouellet in the game, has taken Young out and put Dandenot in. Dandenot takes the pass from Ouellet. Makes a nice move to create a bit of space, cuts into the paint. Offensive foul being called on Canada. Of course, that basket won't count. It's going to be against Poussin Lai.
Well, her 2nd personal foul and the 2nd offensive foul as well. The first was earlier in the game, setting a pick in the middle. Just needs to be a little careful there on those.
China cruising here with an 18-point lead. Canada has yet to get any sort of rhythm going. Liu Shudi, Lin Suling, Chang Tong Li, watched by Tarayanis. The shot comes from outside the paint and outside the screen by Zhang Shuimei.
I know we're repeating ourselves a little here, but the composure from China is absolutely unbelievable. There's a wide open shot in the middle. There was no rush to take it. No, we can just run this shot clock down.
Dandenot draws the foul by Lin Suling. That is her 2nd personal. She's combined that with 10 points, though. I'm so blown away, Joe, with all 5 of the starters for China. They have 4, 6, 6, 7, and 10 points between them. So hard to stop a team like that.
Yeah, as a coach, how do you plan for that? If you know that every position you have to give up a shot somewhere, good offense will always find a shot. Who do you give up in this situation? Because their game plan was clear and it's just not working at the moment.
Or do you fight fire with fire? Do you have any one-pointers on your team, low-pointers who can score? Cheng Tong Li. Inside of 4 minutes to play in the 2nd quarter. We've got another foul being called here. Oh, actually, this is an offensive foul. No?
It was a great steal by Lalonde. Just watching the replay there, she just reached in, grabbed the ball away. She just had it in her possession long enough as the Chinese player tried to recover it. Just had the arm of Lalonde, so she'll go back to the line. The reason she's taking free throws there, for those of you who aren't so familiar with wheelchair basketball, is that China are in team fouls. That means they've reached 5 team fouls here in the quarter. And from that point, every defensive foul leads to 2 free throws.
So for Canada, maybe they want to try to chip this lead down as much as they can by halftime. Have a chat and then see what the 2nd half brings. Right now it is not looking good if you're a fan of Canada. It's looking great if you're a fan of China. Chang Tong Li hits another one. They are on fire.
That's the variability of this Chinese team as well. The last time the shooter was looking to not take that shot from the middle, just taking their time to open up the wing shot. This time taking it a little earlier. Canada just never sure where it is they need to rotate to first.
China came into this game 49% field goal shooting. They're at 67% right now. Here is Ouellet, slings it inside for Lalonde. Red hot pass, and she couldn't quite handle it.
You see that pass again, it was just fired in, but tough for Lalonde to read there, right between the 2 players.
Liu Shudi, 1-on-2, waits for some help for China. Lin Suling bounces it in for Chang Tong Li. Lin Suling takes her time. That one's a little bit short. So a rare miss here for China. It seems anyway. They are 8 of 13 in this quarter.
From a Canadian's perspective, that's going to be the keys. It's China aren't one of the greatest shooting teams if you really force them outside of their comfortable range. For example, from three-pointers, they are not very strong. So if you can set a really high line and force them to take those extra long shots, they're going to struggle.
And no foul on this play. It's just blown down. Terrianis. So Dandino struggling, continues to struggle here. She is now 2 of 9 from the field. China inbounds, under 2.5 to go, working on a 20-point lead. We get a foul called here on Canada's Cindy Wallet.
Very, very smart veterans foul there. There was a 2-on-1 further up the court. Dandino was all alone and Canada had switched off. So that would have been an open layup to China. Wallet had to be careful though. If she'd have made that foul too aggressively, it would have been an unsportsmanlike foul.
Zhang Shuimei maybe cooling off a little bit. Another steal by China's Zhang Tongli.
That's uncharacteristic of Dandino there. Very short on that pass.
Chen Shui-Xing, watched by Dandino, who leads the tournament in steals. Here's Zhang Shui-Xing, rattles out, but again rebounded by China. And this time Dandino picks up the second rebound.
And you can feel the intensity of Dandino from up here. She's so aggressive in her play right now. Not in a negative context whatsoever, like playing really hard, aggressive basketball, determined. She is not letting this Chinese team anywhere near the paint.
Cindy Wallet, again, another hot pass, and she maybe was moving right, and the pass was a little to her left. Couldn't quite squeeze it.
10th turnover already for Canada. That's testament to this Chinese defense and the pressure that they're putting Canada under. Wheelchair basketball, you try and keep under 10 turnovers a game if you can. Canada with 10 already, with 1:30 still to go in the first half.
Lin Suling, Team China's captain, slashes into the paint, then kicks it back out for Zhang Shuimei. The miss, rebounded Canada. Wallet weaving through the traffic, finds Lalonde. Canada gets the break. Lalonde across for Dandino, and she hits. Has a little bit more time and space.
Huge shot from Dandino there, and that was important. China had missed their last 4 in a row, giving Canada the opportunity to come back into the game. Canada just hadn't been able to convert on their end though. So the opportunities have been there for Canada to cut into this lead. Until that shot though, they just haven't been taking them.
First substitution of the game, Captain Lin Suling going to the bench. In for China comes Liu Zhuyi. No, I'll get that right in a minute. That was actually Dai Shai-Ming who came in. And a steal for Canada again. Less than half a minute to go in the second quarter. Cindy Wallet weaves past the timeline.
Lalonde doing such a good job for Wallet there, creating space. It's almost like this truck and trailer there just driving, with Lalonde creating all the space. But then that just lack of concentration right at the end as we see this pass here. Just far too low from Wallet.
That is a painful turnover for Canada. With 15 seconds left in the quarter, picking up a little momentum. The chairs might be tangled up, which happens from time to time. Cindy Wallet kind of hop free, but it's a timeout call by China. They look to finish strong here in the second quarter, and why not? They still had a timeout to call.
See a little frustration from the Canadian bench that Chinese team just pinning Wallet in there. And they're playing aggressively, China. They're not worried about making friends here. They want to win this basketball game. They want to win a bronze medal, and they're not taking a backward step. As we see the celebrations here from both benches and the intensity that they're playing at, it'll be interesting to see what Canada can do in this last 15 seconds. They've had the opportunities, as we said, to eat into this lead. Unfortunately, their focus in the last moments just not been there. It's been that last off-balance shot, the last pass that's just not quite found its target.
Final seconds of the quarter. Zhang Shuimei playing with 3 fouls, drops it off for Lin Suling. Launches a long shot, rebounded Dandenot. Won't be time for a shot. As the second quarter comes to an end, China outscored Canada 16-6 in that quarter and leads 35-17 at halftime.
China cooled off as well towards the end of that quarter. Both teams struggling to find their rhythm, and it was surprising to see China looking for the 3 right at the end of the quarter. As we had said earlier, they're not the strongest from the 3-point line. Looking for it anyway when they maybe had time for a little more. So we see the difference in the points from turnovers and turnovers between the two teams. Canada, 11 turnovers, conceded 11 points off the back of those turnovers as well. And that's not quite the full story of the game, but it's not far off. Those 11 points from turnovers has had a huge impact.
China's balance on scoring has been remarkable. There was another basket from Chen Shuixing. Here's one from Lin Suling, the captain of Team China. Another chance and a second chance from Chen Shuixing. She sends it back. Her team gets another opportunity and rattle one in from a little bit further out. Canada got a little bit of a bright light from Rosie Lalonde's free throw shooting and her aggressive play.
From my perspective, that layup that we just saw has been one of the big moments of the game. Not necessarily just that layup, but Chen Shuixing being able to get inside. Canada leaving her open deliberately. They're not respecting her ability to score. She's shot 3 out of 5 though, and that's just changed how Canada have had to rotate. They've ended up leaving shooters on the wing open instead, and then they've knocked the shots down.
A dominating opening half for China, leading 35-17 over Canada in the women's wheelchair basketball bronze medal game. second half action coming up. Get a look there at China's Zhang Shuimei, who's been playing with 3 fouls in the game. Canadian flag being waved there, hoping their team can turn things around. It has been a rough start for Canada. They went 1 of 7 from the field in the second quarter in this game. They're shooting just 32%. China, 55% from 2-point range, 53 overall. That's going to be a key to try to turn it around for these Canadian fans who are hoping to cheer their team on. Michelle Sung's crew trying to land on the podium for Canada for the first time in 2 decades. Chatting with one of the co-captains, Tara Yanis, as Canada tries to piece together a strong second half, 1 trip down the floor at a time. And they want to take better care of the ball for sure. 11 turnovers for Canada in the opening half. They managed to force 2 on China, and those were later in the half. And so they'll want to continue to improve on that trend. Michelle Sung, who's also the head coach of the University of Manitoba Bison's women's basketball team, made her debut in wheelchair basketball at the repechage tournament where Canada qualified a few months ago. And the team went unbeaten there, and so far at this tournament has 3 wins, 2 losses, hoping to go home with 4 wins, and hoping their team can have a huge second half and come back from an 18-point deficit. What do they need to do here, Joe?
I mean, really bluntly put, they need to score. Yep. If you're only going to score 17 points in a half, you're not going to win any basketball games, is the reality. And they have to score, as they have so much power and so much strength. But as of right now, Katie Danda now shooting 3 of 10. Aaron Young shooting 1 of 4. And in a bronze medal game at the Paralympics, that isn't going to get it done.
And I was pointing out, Joe, in that second quarter, Canada was 1 of 7 from the field. I mean, you're not going to win any games. No. And what is China doing so well?
The press has been incredibly effective, forcing these turnovers from Canada. Canada have spiraled a little within that, though. They've allowed the emotional pressure as well as the physical pressure that China are putting on them to maybe get in their heads a little bit. They've overcooked some passes and just thrown them out of bounds, and these turnovers lead to another, and it just snowballs at some point.
Here we go, second half action. Canada in black attacking China in white. Dai Xiaoming is on the floor for China, the number 16. And that is her first action. She's played just a minute. So she played a few seconds in that opening half. And she's got the ball now.
Sign of confidence from the Chinese team, a team that never really rotate, that's so relatively early in this game from what we're used to seeing, at least, that they're rotating so much.
And then they easily find their captain, Lin Suling, open in the key, and she finishes a quick basket for China. They're up by 20.
It is interesting, though, from China that the rotation that they've gone for is Louis Guidi stepping out of the game. No foul trouble for her, while Zhang Zumei has 3 personal fouls, so a little dangerous leaving her in the game.
Interesting. Here's Wallet. This is going to be well short. Quick shot there. And here comes China. Lalonde trying to catch up, does well to catch up to Lin Suling.
Absolutely, she had to be very, very careful there. If she had have gone in too hard, then she could have very easily been called for an unsportsmanlike foul. So does well to control herself.
Shang Tongli hits, oh no, it bounces, it hit the rim and came right back out again.
That looked like it was about 4/5 of the way down before it came out there.
I thought the same thing. It looked like it was on the inside of the rim and then it came bouncing back out again.
You can see the tactic is really clear from Canada, though. They're going to play just with 1 person on that side and triple switch really aggressively. Bring the 4th player over, and they're going to live with giving up that shot.
Here is Dandenot. Going to put up a shot from distance. It's going to rattle out. Canada continues to try to shoot, but not having much luck. Picked out by Dai Xiaoming. Lin Suling. Work it inside for Zhang Tongli. Does it again. And China is unstoppable here. Early part of the third quarter.
Not the start that Canada would have wanted. They've gone 0 of 3 so far. China shooting 2 of 3 in this quarter, extending their lead now.
Ouellet, Lalonde. She's got a path to the paint, takes it, rolls it in. The feisty Rosie Lalonde gets Canada its first basket of the third quarter.
Lalonde is absolutely a fighter. She's someone who never quits. She has such great chair skills as well. The ability to use her hips to drive through the lane there, avoiding the contact. Really impressive from her.
The last time these two teams met, remember, as you pointed out, Joe, she had 18 points as they left her open and she took advantage. Good job there by Pusan Lai, and we've got a 3-second violation against China.
Pressure from Lalonde. We saw that earlier as well from Yan as a similar tactic, that she's not holding her hand in the face of the player. That would be illegal. That would be, it's called face masking, but what she's doing is waving, creating a lot of noise, pressure. She's never going to stop the shot, but it creates psychological pressure on the opponent. You can see this Chinese player froze a little there.
You're not allowed to put your hand in their face?
You're not allowed to put it completely in the face, no. Like, it could be dangerous, of course, like with fingers around the eyes and things like that, but no, you're not allowed to block the vision of the player completely, not in the face. It's got to be a challenge for the ball.
I thought that was the whole point of getting your hand up.
No, putting your hand up is definitely there to challenge the ball, not to impair the vision of the player.
Learn something new every day. Here's Lin Suling for China. They work it in, right into the lane. Another basket for Zhang Tongli. That is 11 points, make it 13 points for her on 6 of 9 shooting. And here comes a trio of substitutions for Canada.
The left-handed finishes from Zhang Tongli have been really, really strong. There's been a couple of times we've seen this slow down, drive to the basket, and the ability to finish with both hands, crucial in wheelchair basketball. There's so many times that the defense can put you in a position where you have to use your weak hand. If you're able to finish, then that makes defending very, very difficult. You have to just pick your poison, and at the minute, China just have an answer to all of the questions that Canada are asking them.
Melanie Houghton doesn't get the ball a lot. She does there. Quick outlet for Dandenot. Canada gets the press break they need. Time to work in the offensive zone. Here's Young.
They have time, but this high line from China, really, really tough to break down. Needing shots like that over the top from Young. If you can't break the line of the defense, then sometimes you just need to score over the top of it.
Here's Zhang Tongli. And that's an offensive foul called on Zhang Tongli. So Erin Young coming into the game, making a nice impact early on.
Smart by Young, just a little fake and then getting the brakes on as a Chinese player tried to just cross over. Didn't quite have control though.
He is now the second Chinese player with 3 fouls. Dandenot takes the pass, but can't quite squeeze it. It was way up high. Kind of don't mind that play if you're a fan of Canada. She came awfully close to coming down with it and would have been a good spot to shoot.
Absolutely, the read was good from Young, just the execution a little off. Rather than being long to the right hand of Dandenot, it needed to be long to her left hand, allowing her to catch it on the outside, unchallenged.
Back in comes Cheng Shui-Xing. Lin Suling. Chen Shui-Xing, all kinds of time, and she just can't be given that much time for, that was actually Zhang Tongli.
Felt like she had an absolute age to take that shot. She sat there just waiting, looking around if there was anyone better positioned.
Wow, Canada got a break here as the ball ricochets off 2 chairs and into the possession of Tessier for Dandenot. Canada being outscored in this quarter 8-4. Here's Young. Just maybe hoping to draw the foul. Doesn't get either the basket or the foul, but a good effort as Canada starting to get into the paint a little bit more. Here's China on the other side. Can't get that to fall. Young rebounds.
Young doing well not to commit the foul there. She was right on the back wheels of the Chinese player, and if she had fouled her there, that would likely have been an unsportsmanlike foul.
Dandenot having all kinds of trouble, got a little bit too much under the basket.
3 of 13 now for Dandenot, and Young 2 of 6. And the 2 shots that Young has made have both been absolutely huge fadeaways over pressure, and the 4 that she's missed have been fairly comfortable charge circle mismatches. Sometimes that's the way of it. These are comfortable looks where you have time to think are a problem, whereas the ones where you just have to make it, they drop in.
Here's Lin Suling, watched by Poisson Lai. Canada still leaving Cheng Shui-Shing. She misses this time.
Again, all the time in the world, though. That's a dangerous game to play from a Canadian perspective, giving her that much space and opportunity to set herself.
Young bounces it to Houghton, so Canada getting its one-pointers involved a little bit now. You maybe fight fire with fire a little bit. Dandenot fades, misses. Shot clock running out.
It's a little early to say it, but it does look like Canada are starting to run out of answers here. Like they're giving up on some of these offenses and settling for these huge prayers instead of the battling that we saw from Dandenot earlier, where she was really fighting for every inch.
So Young's going to actually take a foul in that situation. Not a bad foul to take. Trying to play tough. But China just continues to roll here, outscoring Canada in each and every quarter so far. Down to the baseline. Lin Suling. Work it across for, and then way back up at the top again. A quick shot taken by Shang Tongli.
That was better pressure from Canada. They just played in between the passing lanes. They didn't commit completely, but they were just making enough of a move to the middle that it took the shooter out of their rhythm. They were forced to move the ball, and each time the ball's passed an extra time, it's taking time off the clock, and it's making the decisions that little trickier for China.
Long inbound finds Dandenot. From the elbow, doesn't want to shoot from there. Here's Young. I feel like putting the ball in one hand like that kind of commits her to a pass until she puts it back on the floor. I like when the players make it look like they're going to shoot and then pass.
Exactly, it does make them a little easier to read from a defensive perspective. I think the most impressive thing from a Chinese perspective right now is that they're doing this with at least one of their bench players in the game, giving extended minutes of rest to people so far today, and that is unusual.
Shang Tongli just hit another one, and that is her 16th and 17th points of the game. Leads all scorers. Tessier is going to hustle to try to track this ball down. Does well to stay in bounds. Dandenot has to really reach to take the pass. Young might have a mismatch. She can get a shot up. And the foul comes, I think, from Dai Shai Ming. No, it's actually... That was Chen Shui-Shing. That was her 4th foul for number 5 on China.
Team fouls as well for China, which is the reason that the Young's going to the line here. See if she can get herself going from there. Sometimes that's what you need as a player. You need some free throws just to get your touch, to get your rhythm, and that allows you to get yourself going to make some of the bigger shots in the game.
So Aaron Young, 77% free throw shooter coming into the game. Canada needed those points and many more. Down by 22 with just over 2 minutes, just under 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. Lin Suling takes it towards the baseline. You got to think they're going to take their time on these possessions. And the shot put up and in.
You see that ball movement from China has been absolutely fantastic. That time they just got their passes a little snappier, making it harder for the Canadian rotations. Couldn't quite get there in time to pressure the wing shot. And worth pointing out, Lin Suling is already on a double-double here with 12 points and 10 assists. Zhang Tonglei also closing in on a double-double, just 2 assists short.
Canada was trying to force the ball in for Young. Didn't work, and here comes China the other way. Another basket off of a turnover.
Their scoring from turnovers has been unbelievable today, but Canada with 14 turnovers to China's 4 has had such a big impact, and that's just this defensive intensity and defensive pressure
15
from China.
turnovers now.
15 now.
Because they just gave the ball away 5 seconds ago. Zhang Tongli, Lin Suling, Zhang Tongli, Lin, Zhang, in. Wow, what a game she's having. What a game for number 7, Zhang Tongli, 19 points. 21, she had the previous basket as well. I missed that one.
The most impressive thing isn't even just that it's 21 points, it's that it's 21 points, it's 67%.
Wow.
There haven't been many layups in there. This is majority been from outside.
Canada's going to substitute. Into the game comes the captain, Cindy Ouellette. Brings speed, brings experience. She's going to replace Katie Dandeneau, who's been having a heck of a game. Can't find the normal rhythm that we see her have. Dandeneau coming out at 3 of 14 from the field. She's been having such a hard time getting good chair position. There is a turnover from China. That has been few and far between in this game. And that is their 5th turnover against 16 now for Canada.
And the difference is the intensity between the two teams. They're the structure combined with intensity. There's no use just being intense if it's uncontrolled and you don't know where each other are.
Good basket for Cindy Ouellette, coming off the bench, trying to make an impact. And a timeout has been called by China, but they have got a 26. Actually, we're at the end of the quarter here. Stadium announcer announced timeout China, but it is end of the third quarter. 26-point lead. China leads Canada in the bronze medal game.
Just as we see these highlights, the difference, as we were saying, really is the intensity. And it's no use just having intensity if it's unstructured and it's uncontrolled, people pushing around like headless chickens. It's the ability to play intense while understanding the team concept, while knowing where your teammates are and having a solid line. And we can see what that intensity has caused. 16 turnovers from Canada, and from those 16 turnovers, China have scored 17 of their points. China just with 5 turnovers, and Canada only scoring 4 points from those 5 turnovers.
So if you are on the Canadian bench and your Canadian head coach, Michelle Sung, you just say, let's try to win this quarter and see where it puts us?
Absolutely. There's no use in trying to think too many possessions ahead now. They know what a big hole they're in. They know they need to score more points in this last quarter than they've scored in the entire game so far. And if you focus on the big picture, then you're going to freeze. The only thing you can do is narrow your focus, say, let's win this possession. And she said that earlier in the game when the response from the players was to take an early 3. And what she needs is that focus from the team. She needs them to win one possession and to stop. Win the next possession, get to stop again. And then they just need to see where they are at the end of that. If they can cut the lead, if they can create some nerves in this Chinese team.
And maybe cause a Chinese player to foul out of the game, perhaps.
Exactly, they need to do something, but it needs to be quick.
Here we go, fourth quarter action. China in white, Canada in black. China has got 1 foot on the podium for the bronze medal. Can Canada knock them off? That would be a huge task, and it doesn't start well for Canada. Again, a quick basket by Cheng Shui-Xing.
There's not much more that Young can do in that situation, though. To be fair to her, that's exactly the shot they want to give up. It's a low pointer rolling to the basket, buried under the ring almost, with a 4-5 chasing them down right on their back wheel. The finish is just too good.
Pick and roll for Rosie Lalonde. Almost got her own rebound. She's completely outsized going to the basket.
You can see the difference in the pressure that China put on there. Is not just Lalonde being chased from behind. There was somebody in front of her chair, as well as the pressure from behind. Just nowhere for her to go.
Out last foul, Pusen Lai from Canada, her 3rd personal. Nice pass inside for Dai Shai-Ming. Canada's going to quickly send it ahead for Ouellet. Takes it in on the layup, makes it look easy. Cindy Ouellet's got 6 points.
6 points may not sound like much, but those 6 points mean she's only 1 away from being Canada's top scorer so far here today.
Canada manages to cause an 8-second violation, so maybe a couple little things working in favor of Canada.
That's what they need. They need as many possessions as possible. They need to speed China up a little bit. They can't afford to let China take 24 seconds every offense. So these 8-second calls are the main chance that Canada have of coming back into the game.
Nice pass inside for Lalonde. Gets her own rebound after the miss, and then draws the foul on Lin Su-Ling. That is her 3rd personal.
It's a little frustration on the face of Lalonde. She knows that those shots need to drop. 5th foul drawn from her.
Young takes from behind, hot and screen. But the miss, and then the quick rebound by Dai Shai-Ming. China gets the press break.
Young very unbalanced on that shot there. You can see, I know that Canada needs to score quickly. They need to score, so the shots need to be controlled and consistent shots, not rushed.
China turns the ball over.
It looked like, it wasn't so clear, but it looked like it was an offensive foul from the Chinese player. Just a little overly aggressive with the foot plate, I think.
Here's Ouellet, and that's going to drop in for Cindy Ouellet.
Ouellet, the only Canadian player shooting over 40% now. She's 4 of 7 and leads the scoring for Canada, but leads the scoring with just 8 points.
Cindy Ouellet, or at least Aaron Young, commits a foul. It's Canada's 2nd team foul of this 4th quarter. Not quite 2.5 minutes in, facing a 24-point deficit. They are outscoring China in the quarter. Shang Tongli then swings it to the middle. That one's going to rattle out, but China is there again for the rebound. Liu Shudi.
China not a team that pick up a lot of offensive rebounds, but that one just falling in exactly the right spot.
Aaron Young comes up with that defensive rebound, and then, Pusan Lai catches it and then rushes the pass, trying to get it to Lalonde. Good effort again by the Canadians, but tough finish.
You just see that lack of composure, just needed it out of her hands there, Lai, but not the right pass, needed to take a second.
Here's Zhang Tongli. She has been the breakthrough performer in this game for China with 21 points. Into the hands of Zhang Shuimei, who's been playing with 3 fouls a lot of the game and has done really well. And Zhang Tongli hits another one. 23 points for her. Leads all scorers by a wide margin.
And you can see the focus there. She waits. There's no rush when the player's pressuring her. It doesn't matter how close they are. Her only focus is the basket, and she gets that shot up with a hand in her face. When you're doing that at 65%, that's a strong game. You see Horton hitting the deck there. Not a foul, as the announcer says. Just a player down, an incidental contact. And that's part of the game in wheelchair basketball.
Melanie Houghton's been playing in Europe as well. 1-point player for Canada. Gets a lot of minutes. Here's Aaron Young, 3-point attempt. Rocks it.
As we said, it feels like all of the shots that Young is making so far are the huge ones and the easier ones not dropping. And that was another example, enormous 3-pointer.
Chen Shui-Shing. Zhang Tongli slings it all the way across for the score. I apologize, can't always read these numbers on the Chinese jerseys. They're so hard to see, these yellow, light yellow. That was Zhang Shuimei.
You see that 3 again from Young. Again, eyes are just on the ring, no concern about the pressure coming out. You see these highlights or lowlights from a Canada perspective, and it's been the story of the game, just a lack of composure in some of these key moments. Passes not hitting the target, shots they'd normally make just not dropping today, and it's not been their greatest day, of course, but credit to the Chinese defense as well. It has been absolutely hard-nosed all the way through.
And not the game we expected. I mean, these teams only were separated by 5 points in the preliminary round, win by China.
Exactly that. And we said before the game that how much Canada have improved as the tournament have gone on, that they'd really found their rhythm, particularly with their 2 bigs out on the court, and that's just not materialized today.
China's balance of scoring has been absolutely enlightening. Dai Ximing has the ball now. Swings it across for Zhang Shuimei. That one rockets up and hits the rim.
Again, we saw that pressure from Lalonde, that arm just up there waving around and then pulling it away to make sure she doesn't draw the foul.
Long pass from Ouellette goes intended for Young, deflected by China. Canada ball with 10 seconds on the shot clock.
China do such a good job there. They recognize that there's only one place that this pass is going to go. They double team it straight away. You can see pressure from the side and in front. making it so difficult for Young to get hold of that.
5 on the shot clock. Pick and roll, finds Lalonde. And Lalonde with the basket, and she's got 7, make it 9 points in the game. 50% shooting for Rosie Lalonde. Does well to get herself available, doesn't she?
She really does, and key to it is the pass from Young. If Lalonde was having to move outside of her cylinder to get hold of that, it'd be much more difficult for her to make the finish. Next points for China, just keeping the scoreboard ticking over here.
Yeah, they're okay with trading baskets in this quarter, I would imagine.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they trailed by 1 in the quarter, but when you go in with a 26-point lead...
Yeah, trade baskets all day long. Here's Twang Xiaolin. China slowly starting to bring its bench players into the game. Zhang Shuimei.
Good pressure here from Canada, as we see just disrupting the offense. Tough pressure from behind by Young. We've seen a lot of those shots drop, though, but it is the right game plan from a Canada perspective. That is the person you want to shoot, and under that level of pressure, but when they keep making them, sometimes it's just too good.
Cindy Willett again passes underneath. Lalonde again gets the roll off the glass and in.
With all honesty, it's not been the Canadian defense that has been the issue here today. Like, they've done a reasonably good job considering the high percentage that China have been scoring. The difference is that China have had 11 more shots than they have, and Canada at times just haven't been able to buy a basket.
Tough defense there by Poisson Lai. Swats the ball out of bounds. And a timeout has been called just as Katie Dandeneau is coming back into the game. 2:56 on the clock.
Interesting decisions to be made from Michelle Sung on the Canada bench here. Does she keep battling here? They are winning the quarter by 3 now, but still in an enormous hole. Do they keep battling to try and get this medal? It is a medal game after all. It's one chance every 4 years to win a medal at the Paralympics. Or does she use the opportunity now to run some of her younger bench players through and give them the experience of not just being at the Paralympic Games, but trying to perform under pressure in front of this kind of crowd?
Yeah, that's a good question to ask, and there are 2 players on the Canadian team who have not even seen the floor yet, and Bethany Johnson and Desiree Isaac Pictou.
It just becomes a question as we see these highlights of the priorities of the program. Is it to give everything to win this game here and now, or is it to try and give those few valuable minutes that may help in the future when they're in this kind of situation again?
Meanwhile, China trying to nurse this lead home without too much drama, I suppose. And then keep getting shots from now players like Huang Xiaoyin, who's come off the bench. It's her first basket of the game.
And such a quick release on the shot as well there. You can see the difference rather than taking the time. A great shot by Dandeneau. Interesting that the referee didn't stop the play there with Lai on the floor. Could have been a dangerous situation there.
Maybe the way she kind of gently put herself down, I think he was watching the situation.
Of course. The risk was, though, if Dandeneau had gone into the arm of Lai with her foot plate, that could have been incredibly dangerous.
Play goes on. Zhang Shuimei. Great game for her. 12 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists for number 6.
See the intensity of Lalonde. I felt like she could get a piece of that. Diving in to get hold of the ball. Just out of control, though. Lalonde, leading scorer for Canada after the great game she had the first time round against China. 18 points personal then. She's out to 11 points personal so far here today.
Inside of 2 minutes to play, China leading by 24 points.
And that's next points for the number 10, Huang Xiaolin. And it was a huge shot. A lot more range on that shot than we're used to seeing.
Rosie Lalonde with a steal. Here's Young. Dandenot has it swatted away. It's going to be China ball. Team China ball.
Frustration on the face of Dandenot there. I think she felt like there was a touch on that ball. Fighting to try and free herself. So Dandenot making the point there that you're not allowed to completely block a player in. You can't physically hold them, that there needs to be some sort of room to move, but exaggerating the point a little there to try and get herself free. Maybe just some frustration from Dandenot, and understandably so in this kind of situation. She'll have expected more of herself and from the team.
China trying to get baskets from their bench. And they are home and cooled here with a 24-point lead and 1:16 left.
Interesting that that was called Canada ball there. It looked like Young got a big piece of it.
Canada's still fighting here, but not to put too fine a point on it. It's pretty much China's got 9 out of 10 fingers on the bronze medal already, and it's just a matter of seconds.
24-point lead with under a minute to go is definitely a tough ask.
I think there was a U.S. college basketball game that once had a 12-point deficit erased in a minute, but...
Oh, it can happen quickly with fouls, with threes, with and ones. Theoretically, it can happen, and Dandenot and Young definitely back themselves as scorers, but I think that might be a little outside of their reach.
Aaron Young puts up another one.
China taking all the time in the world here.
And
he's calling that there's a player down.
Yep.
So back up, right. Ball to be inbounded, China ball. Shot clock running down, but they'll just keep running it down as far as they can. They know that this game is in the bag for them now, and that's a huge shot, though. 14th point of the game for Zhang Shuimei. Open layup for Lai, her first points of the game. 14 seconds to go, 22-point lead to China. Canada have eaten into this Chinese lead, but only by 4 points so far, as China run a number of their bench. Dandenot looking to add to her personal score, but it's all a little too late as China take A big win here in the bronze medal game. 65 points to 43 over Canada.
Well, a stronger fourth quarter for Canada. They put in a feisty finish, but the damage was done early on in this one. A really impressive win by China from start to finish. Super balanced scoring, and then a monster performance from Zhang Tongli. 23 points for her, along with 9 assists and a couple of rebounds and 3 steals as well. And that was a big part of China's success in this game.
Absolutely, and China, a team who usually don't go to their bench for very many minutes at all. Very low scoring, just averaging 5 points from their bench, and there wasn't a lot of scoring from the bench today, but the minutes were completely different. Dai Jieming with almost 21 points, Huang Xiaolin with over 8.5 minutes, so much more significant minutes from the Chinese bench today.
And a great tournament overall for Katie Dandenot, but you know, she would say it a rough final day. 4 of 18 shooting, 10 points for her, 9 rebounds, almost a double-double anyway, even though it was a rough day with 5 assists. But the bronze medal is going to go to the People's Republic of China with an impressive 65-43 win over Canada.
You can see the disappointment on the Canadian faces. There are a lot of very, very experienced players who they would have come into this game expecting a lot more. Like, they rate themselves, they back themselves, and they just weren't able to deliver in the end today. They shot well from the free throw line. We can see 64%, but 17 turnovers and 19 points from those 17 turnovers, as well as only 48 shots. And you're going to struggle to win basketball games, particularly medal games, with numbers like that.
Canada plays so well in its semifinal loss against Netherlands, really challenged the defending champions. I think they thought there would be more there today, and it just wasn't there against the silver medalists from Tokyo, who are going to be bronze medalists here in Paris. Always going to be tears when a medal slips out of your hands. Got to give credit to the People's Republic, though. Their starting 5, Chen with 8 points, Zhang Shumei with 14, Zhang Tongli with 23, Liu Shudi with 4, Lin Suling with 12. There's your starting 5, all getting multiple baskets and all contributing a huge amount. An impressive bronze medal performance for the People's Republic of China. Canada fourth. You see Great Britain, Germany, Japan, and Spain. Still the gold medal to be decided at the Versailles here in Paris. The Bercy Arena has been the home of wheelchair basketball and done an incredible job. Today it was the balanced scoring of China that ruled the day, and they take home the bronze.